Hey guys, it's Dr. Justin Marcagiani here. We are live. We're doing a video today on bile salts, and bile salts can be the missing piece to your digestion and to potentially why you have SIBO. We're going to dive into that topic. Before we do, make sure you smash that like button, put your comments down below. Let me know things that you've done in regards to help support bile acid production and fat digestion, and make sure you share this content with friends and family. All right, let's dive in. So bile acids are really important. They're acids, right? So in the digestive kind of chain, right, the chain of command, we have our stomach where hydrochloric acid is made, and that acidity helps lower the pH, and that pH starts to activate pepsin production. So pepsinogen gets converted to pepsin, which is a proteolytic enzyme, and that nice acidic chyme, which is all the mixed up food in your stomach, is called chyme, gets released into your stomach or from your stomach to your small intestine, and that's going to trigger a bunch of bicarbonate release to bring that pH back up to neutral. And before that, it's also going to stimulate cholecystokinin production, which is this neuropeptide that stimulates the gallbladder to contract. So the goal of the gallbladder is actually not to make bile. The liver is going to make bile, but it's going to concentrate bile about 15 to 20 times more than the liver could. And it's going to be able to release it in a punctuated fashion. If you don't have a gallbladder, the common hepatic bile duct ends up being your gallbladder, except it's going to just kind of drip bile all the time. It's not going to concentrate it, and it's not going to release it in that punctuated, specific fashion. So the benefit of having good gallbladder function, it concentrates the bile, and that cholecystokinin stimulation due to good acidity, HCl production is really important for that. That's going to stimulate that gallbladder to contract. Out comes the bile, and then we start to break down the fat, right? The bile is an emulsifier. Imagine like a fatty, frying pan that you cook bacon in, right? Well, put some cold water on it. What happens? Or hot water. That fat just kind of, you feel it. It has that sheen on there. You add some Dawn dish soap, it cuts that fat right off, right? It emulsifies it. The same thing is happening. Think of Dawn dish soap. Think of that as your bile. That's going to help break down that good fat so we can absorb it, we can assimilate it, we can use it. And fat's important because we have fat-soluble nutrients like vitamin A, D, E, and K that are fat-soluble vitamins. Of course, we have good saturated fats, which are really helpful for energy, skin, hair, nails, building up a good, healthy lipid bilayer. And then, of course, our long-chain fatty acids, such as EPA or DHEA omega-3 fats, which are really important for reducing inflammation. And then we also have our short-chain fatty acids, like butyric acid or butter, which is really good fat. A lot of good vitamin A precursors in butter as well. And then, of course, we have our medium-chain triglycerides, which are going to be our coconut oil, right? Our lauric, capric, caproic, caprylic acid, right? Our 6, 8, 10, and 12 fatty acids on the medium chain side. So we need to have good, healthy bile production because that bile helps emulsify that fat so we can absorb it a lot better. Now, bile is also antimicrobial. It's a bile acid. So bacteria and bugs typically don't like a low pH, right? pH 1 to 6 is acidic, 7 is neutral, and then 8 to 14 is going to be, or 7.1 and up is going to be more on the acidic side, and to about 14 is the high end on that. I'm sorry. So 1 to 7 is going to be acidic, 1 to 6 acidic, 7 neutral, and then 7.1 and up is going to be alkaline. Alkaline on the higher side. And again, acidity actually has a natural antimicrobial. So bugs don't like to grow in an acidic environment. If you look at lots of, and for females, for instance, vaginal yeast issues, a lot of times you're going to see that in a very much a alkaline environment. Birth control pills are notorious for creating a hormonal shift and then also alkalizing the vaginal area, which can make you more prone to bacterial or yeast infections. And we know probiotics like Lactobacillus acidophilus literally translates to acid loving. So probiotics and good healthy bacteria actually produce various acids. And a lot of the fermentation that we get from good fermented foods, right? Those are acids being produced by that. So bile acids in nature tend to be more antimicrobial. So part of SIBO or dysbiosis or gut dysfunction pathophysiology is you're going to see some level of lack of bile acid and or hydrochloric acid reduction. So we're not going to have enough acidity in that area. So one, we're not breaking down our proteins, breaking down our fats. And two, that acidity is a natural antimicrobial. So it makes it harder for bugs to grow. So if we have less acid and less bile salts, there's going to be more prone for that environment to foster bad bugs to grow. Hope that makes sense. And of course, we know sympathetic nervous system stress is going to cause us to not get into that good rest and digest parasympathetic state, right? think of a seesaw. So if your sympathetics up, well, your parasympathetics has to be down. Your parasympathetics are responsible for that rest and digest and digestive secretion, while the sympathetic is taking our blood flow and putting it to our arms and hands and legs to fight and flee and run. And if your blood flow is to those extremities to run, fight, and flee, where is it not? It's not in the core. It's not providing the digestive juices and the acids. And it makes sense because when you're fighting and fleeing, your body doesn't want to be worrying about digesting something. That's kind of a waste. So the body is prioritizing everything towards fleeing and fighting versus resting, digestion, absorbing, and assimilating. So good parasympathetics is that first kind of neurological step to secreting good acids, secreting good enzymes, causing that gallbladder to contract in a very punctuated fashion. And then those extra acids that are now being produced in the small intestine make it harder for a lot of bad bugs to grow. So the first thing you got to do is make sure you're doing things to help enhance your parasympathetic nervous system. Anti-inflammatory, nutrient-dense, low-toxin foods, really important. Cutting out food allergens, supplementing with extra HCl and enzymes. Really working on knocking down bugs. If there are bugs that are already present, adding more HCl and bile salts may not be enough to knock those bugs down. So once they're already at a higher level, that may not be enough. It's going to be an important step to help, but you may have to go in there and use punctuated specific protocols to knock those bugs down. And of course, there could be other things like H. pylori, yeast overgrowth, fungal overgrowth, other parasites that are at play as well. And then of course, the more these bugs are there and the more this inflammation's there, the more the malabsorption's there, the greater chance that we have more gut permeability where our epithelial cells are kind of open and food and bacteria and endotoxins can slip through. That can create more immune stress. More immune stress increases chance of food allergies. And the more our immune system is hyperactive, it's just sucking away energy. It's kind of like if you have a guest bedroom in your house and you left the water on by accident, and then you check the water bill last month and you're like, whoa, it's like 5 times higher than it normally is. Well, because you're using resources that you're not aware of, right? Unless you go in there. Same thing with your gut. You're using resources on your immune system side to deal with that stress, and it's sucking away energy from your reserves. That's possibly, part of that whole energy, fatigue, mood issue when you have a lot of chronic gut stuff. So it kind of connects there. So again, this is Dr. J here. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Hope it resonates with you. If you have chronic gut issues or SIBO issues or gallbladder, bile, and digestive issues, feel free to click down below. You can schedule with myself. I'm available worldwide. My colleagues are too as well to help y'all. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up, give me a share, comments below, and I hope you enjoyed.